That was the smoothest that this has ever gone. Welcome to the Tim Runs His Mouth podcast. Let me see the intro.
I didn't dance this time, at least. You're welcome.
Welcome to the Tim Runs His Mouth podcast. We got a lot to talk about tonight.
I was like, so here's how the news cycle always works, right? We either have to like dig to find stuff
Or
to talk
there's
about.
so much.
Or there's like, we can't. Because you had pulled a bunch of good clips to plug your social media for a second. Tim Runs His Mouth.
Yeah, you know that though. If
Everywhere
you're here,
and
you probably
anywhere.
know that, but yeah.
You had some really good clips. So I was like, perfect. I'll just pull the stuff that we'll review them, do the normal stuff.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
And then halfway through the afternoon, bam.
Yeah, Tucker Carlson decides to go do his own thing. So let's cover a couple of things.
Even first. The Trump stuff was first.
Let's get to that. Shall we get right into that? Let's do that.
Let's do it.
Let's do the first thing first. Number one, do you want to talk about what you drink? No, I'll do mine first because I have melting ice.
So if you guys are here, we're starting this new thing where we start off with a drink.
Yeah.
Until that becomes not good for.
Okay, nobody's been here before.
Health.
Nobody's been here before, so it's fine.
Yesterday.
It's good. Yeah. There we go.
We have some
all right, so here's the deal.
viewers.
I want to get my computer out of the shot too. I have so many stupid stickers on it.
I like your stupid
This
stickers.
is Dexter, and I did not do my research on where this is from, actually. This is, I really love this, by the way. Newtown, Ohio. Really? So Dexter, the gimmick with this, and it's one of my favorites, and again, there we go, got the logo in there. Dexter's one of my recent favorites. This guy, they actually finish it in 200-year-old oak. There was a tree. There was a large oak tree that I believe was struck by lightning, and they have repurposed all the oak. And I don't know if you can get this in Texas. I bought this when I was up in Vermont with your mom. And we actually got this. I screamed when I saw it because I love this stuff. It is one of my favorites, and I have not opened this bottle. We've had this since Christmas.
Mm-hmm. Either that or Thanksgiving, but
as you guys may or may not know, I have about 700 bottles of whiskey.
They're gonna come in.
I know, and I'm a executive bourbon steward on top of everything else I do. So I have the training to be able to discuss this stuff. So Dexter, really good stuff. Where are they from? Brain Brew. The lights here.
Solid.
I should have done some work here. Yeah, Brain Brew. But anyway, Dex. I love this stuff. There you go, Dexter.
Wow.
Aged in 200-year-old stuff. What do you have, Alex?
Well, I have this lovely little number here that you picked up from where? Where'd you get this today?
That would be Sam's Club.
Sam's Club.
This is so good.
A classic. Is today the first time that you feel like we've gotten a positive value instead of mind-numbing rage out of our Sam's Club membership?
Well, I went to the good one.
What does that mean, Tim?
Probably something racist. I went to the good Sam's Club, and I spent $250 on groceries. Like, this is the first time I bought groceries today. Like, anyway, pour your thing. I bought groceries today while you're pouring this.
It's a nice Cabernet Sauvignon. Is that how you pronounce it? Sauvignon.
Jesus God.
Cabernet Sauvignon.
Jesus God. It's aged in bourbon barrels for 4 months, and it was only $9.
And it's got a nice
just pour it so I can get on it.
nice little
and you have your
man.
And you have your collectible Grapevine wine trail glass from our hometown of Grapevine, Texas. All right, so while you're pouring that, and you learn how to pronounce what type of wine you have.
I don't know. I don't drink this. I can do a Cabernet.
Okay, are you done? The sound, the fact that like that picks up like ASMR, your microphone is.
You're welcome.
Like you could hear every sip that you take. There's some guy that's tuning in right now. He's excited to see your feet just in case with the noise that you.
No, I'm not showing my feet.
If that spills anywhere on this table.
I know. Okay, I know.
Okay.
I know.
All right, get it out of the shot. Nope. No. No.
Directly in your
other
shot.
Side. Yeah.
That makes sense.
There you go. All right,
Sorry,
there we go.
I'm not even tipsy.
Let's start with the Trump. You want to start with the Trump thing? Let's start with the Trump thing.
Yes.
Trump was convicted of. Now, what was he convicted of?
Being a racist, right? That's. Hold on. Okay.
A federal jury today found that former President Donald Trump sexually abused and defamed E. Jean Carroll, a writer who accused Trump of assaulting her in a dressing room in the 1990s.
Once more with feeling. Hit it.
A federal jury today found that former President Donald Trump. Now, can I say these words on YouTube?
Yeah, you're reading a headline.
Yes. A federal jury today found that former President Donald Trump sexually abused and defamed E. Jean Carroll, a writer I'm not a good reader. A writer who accused Trump of assaulting her in a dressing room in the 1990s. Now, here's my issue with this. Number one, can Donald Trump get a fair trial anywhere in America?
Hold on. I want to backtrack a little bit.
Okay.
Because for those of you who didn't catch why Tim was laughing at what I said, is because there's been a lot of confusion, I think, with the legal system and how we communicate about the legal system within the conservative movement, specifically. Some people saying that their opponents. Preface what I'm going to ask. Of explain. So there's this. You interrupted me and I lost my train of thought. There's been a history of specific politicos, candidates accusing their opponents of being twice convicted racists, if you will. And I say that only to say
that would be Carrie Lake. Just say her name.
Well, I don't think it really matters.
It's the Carrie Lake campaign.
I'm all for not giving additional airtime.
Katie Hobbs of being a twice convicted racist.
And it was like their number one slogan throughout the general election in Arizona.
Yeah.
And I am one of the people that saw that retweeted stuff about it, because I read it, and I read somebody who, I follow and I look at as a thought leader and a point of authority, because at the time I was living in Arizona. This is the person that I'm about to vote for. The stuff that's coming out of her PR team, I'm retweeting. I want to help her out, as were a lot of people. It was not until after the election when I met you where you're like, that's not a thing. And I think a lot of people are in that position. So I say that to preface this, is I think we talk about the legal system in a very messed up way within our movement.
In a stupid way. In a completely stupid way. In an uninformed way, and people jump on the ball. So here's the deal. We're going to talk about this because the conviction of Trump today is BS. It's absolutely, it is part of the witch hunt. It is part of the fake news. It is part of all of it. All of it. It's garbage. We're going to get to that in a second. But when I heard, and I laughed out loud, because when I get angry, I laugh, about twice convicted racist, there's no crime of racism. That is not a crime. So when you have a candidate pushing, and I think they tweeted about it yesterday.
Yeah, they did.
Twice convicted racist. That's not a thing. Now, she lost a civil suit. That's a thing. You can lose because if you have discriminatory hiring practices or other things. By the way, I have a law degree that I don't talk about. I run my mouth, but I have a law degree. Almost got a doctorate in public policy. I went to grad school as well. And I've worked in the legal system, and I've written policy, everything. I don't need to qualify everything, but I just feel like I should.
But that's why I want, because not only do you have that degree and that experience, but also, your profession is not in law. It's in communicating topics in layman's terms to the viewer who might not know. And again, when you're scrolling through Twitter and all you're seeing is this one person saying, hey, this is a thing, you're not going to think like maybe this isn't a thing.
And you're not getting informed properly. And so here's the thing. Twice convicted racist, not a thing, totally fabricated. It's a shift of terminology that I'm ashamed that our side did that.
So this is what happened. Her opponent, Katie Hobbs. I'm just going to go through
get to the Trump thing.
We are, but we're going to have a long stream tonight. So her opponent, Katie Hobbs, was basically part of a group that somebody took, from what I understand, had a civil suit against her because she had racial bias in the workplace. And I think it was a wrongful either termination or not hiring somebody.
It was a civil lawsuit. It wasn't criminal.
Right.
You don't get convicted in a civil lawsuit. You can lose a civil lawsuit, but you're not convicted. So that terminology out the gate is incorrect and improper.
Right.
There is no crime of racism. So there's no such, again, you
can't be convicted. What they meant was that a jury found her guilty of not, I mean, explain this. How does that work? So what happens?
A jury found that she had discriminatory practices that damaged someone else. And so that actually led to her losing these civil cases. That being said, shame on our side in the middle of all of the fake news and nonsense for creating this term. And again, this term had to go all the way up through a campaign. right? So everyone is involved in this, including experts and probably legalese lawyers who know what they're saying and what they're not supposed to be saying. And it's misleading. Well, she lost 2 civil suits, but she wasn't convicted of racism. That's not a thing. And it's one of the times that fact checkers actually jumped on this and they were right. And the one thing that really annoys me is when we give things to the left. Mm-hmm. And this is one of those instances where we gave them
the win.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not saying the election.
I'm
not saying we gave him the election. I'm not giving up on that. But I'm saying this was a totally fabricated term, and it makes us look like clowns. So let's get to the Trump thing.
Yes. So basically the reason that I brought that up is because I want the way that you just explained that situation. I think that it's important to kind of walk people through, what the process is, what we're looking at here, what actually happened. So that other than just, the conviction, in this case, it really is a conviction, other than just the conviction itself, which everyone knows happens, walk through kind of the process, what kind of happened from the beginning up until now, what happens when, this case has been going on for years, right? This woman was doing a media tour around
this was during the Trump.
2018.
Yeah, well, that's not years. That's not long for a criminal case. It's not long for anything. And trials last forever. People know this. That's why they've started the stuff with Trump now. Yeah. E. Jean Carroll, writer. I don't know what she wrote. Nobody knows. She says that she met Trump at like a party and he forced himself on her, and the end. Now, there's no proof of that. There's no proof that he knows her. Even if it did happen, there's no evidence. Proving that something from 30 years ago is nearly impossible, especially something that didn't have any kind of, we'll just say, DNA attached, right? So she went on a media tour when she was discussing this, and we're going to get to the case in a second. E. Jean Carroll went on this media tour, and she went on Anderson Cooper's show, and we debated whether or not we could show this clip because of how loony it was and the terminology. And we said no. But she went on and talked about basically how victims enjoyed being victims. That's the best way to put it. And it was so uncomfortable for Anderson Cooper that Anderson Cooper cut the segment through to break.
She said that she thought that
people fantasized about.
I'm going to use the term essay, that it's sexy, was her, that the general consensus of that happening, which is what she's accusing Trump of, is sexy to the general public. That is what she said in the clip.
And she really, and again, who am I to judge? She looked unhinged in that. It was bizarre. The behavior was bizarre. The body posturing was bizarre. And Anderson Cooper clearly felt uncomfortable and threw to break.
Well, he cut it immediately.
Yes.
And he kind of, so in the
Because
clip,
here's the thing. I feel like it blew the narrative that they were trying to push. Because it's very clear that obviously the media is in on this. Obviously they want Trump to be convicted. They want Trump to lose money and not be able to run for president. And it blew the narrative in such a manner that they hit the eject button on the segment.
And they also, for a moment, tried to kind of you could tell that he knew it was going downhill, that this woman sounded crazy. And because this is liberal-based media, this is very much in favor of her over him in this situation. They even tried to kind of hop in and give her an out, and she just doubled down. She's like, hold on. What I just said wasn't crazy enough.
It was bad.
Let's go even harder.
So this person is who is suing Trump and has Trump in front of a jury. And let's be very honest. There is nowhere in America, in order for you to be on a jury, you have to be actually non-biased. You actually have to have no opinion of the situation or not know the people who were involved.
Right.
So Alex gets, hold on. Say Alex gets accused of something and I'm on the jury. They would throw me out immediately because I have knowledge of Alex. Even if I wasn't her fiance, they would throw me out. So what happened here and what would happen in any jury? Donald Trump is probably the most famous person in the world, one of the most famous people in the world.
Well, and also just to
everyone knows who Donald Trump is. So before you go there, everyone knows who he is. everyone has an opinion of him. And that's the important thing.
Mm-hmm.
And why these people shouldn't be on a jury. Why no one could be on a jury. Why Donald Trump may be one of the only people in America who cannot get a fair trial is because everyone knows Donald Trump. And they don't just know him, they have an opinion of Donald Trump. So this is just it's an entirely poor situation. Also, he's being accused of something, again, that happened over 30 years ago. So you combo that together. There's literally no evidence other than he said, she said, right? Literally no. I don't even think there's evidence that they were in the same place at the same time. And that coming from Donald Trump, who takes pictures with everyone. I don't think there's a picture of him and her. And he literally will take pictures with everyone. So you have a biased jury. I mean, if you want to convict Donald Trump, you could probably get me convicted of anything. If you said I was a right-wing, quote unquote, influencer in New York City and had me in front of a liberal jury, they hate me there. There are Brooklyn bloggers that are waiting for my demise, have been waiting for my demise for years. There are PBS journalists who have been waiting for my demise for years. It's really interesting, the people who like negative comments about me on Twitter. So there's literally no one who doesn't have an opinion of Donald Trump. There's no way for him to get a fair trial in America at all. And there was a ridiculous charge that was brought against him. What this does, and what's really bad, is that it opens the door for many more people to come up with BS things and continue the witch hunt. And it's a really bad situation. Sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
You're fine. I'm glad that was a better use of the time. But to go back to this kind of analogy, because I think that, using me as an example, that's, I think, way too close of a comparison in this case, because it's so much more generalized than that. Even saying that you don't know me, I really want to paint the picture for the listeners and the viewers here. If any of the people that are listening in right now, if you were accused of a crime, right, and you're picking the jury, two sides are deciding on the jury. If anybody here that's listening was called to a jury tomorrow and asked, have you listened to Tim Young's podcast, in a normal situation, would any of those people be allowed on a jury?
No.
So it's not even about knowing personally. It's not even, it's a lot more nuanced than, again, like you said, everybody has an opinion on Donald Trump. Yes. I think it was like over 70% of people who voted for Joe Biden did so not because he was Joe Biden,
but because they were dead.
Because he was, but also when they talked to the alive people about their opinions on voting.
They didn't like Donald Trump. They didn't vote for Joe Biden. They voted against Donald Trump, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And they and
shocker,
in an area like
New
York.
Shocker, New York, and this includes Long Island, which does lean Republican, right? New York is 68% Democrat. Manhattan is like 90% Democrat. You're not getting a fair jury pool there the same way you wouldn't in Washington, D.C., the same way you wouldn't in LA or San Francisco. If there's people still alive in San Francisco to be on juries. So again, it's the same way that Joe Biden wouldn't get a fair trial in Tallahassee.
Right.
Or I'd say not Dallas. Grapevine. He wouldn't get a fair trial here. I'd be okay with that, though, because I don't like him. But
even so, because I think the biggest point, too, not to like beat a dead horse or repeat this too many times, but I would say that there's a lot more people that have a nuanced opinion. Going back to that same statistic, there's a lot more people that have a nuanced opinion about Joe Biden than about Trump.
Yes.
I don't think there's a single person in America that hasn't been living under a rock for the last 6 years. Is that how far we are into it? How many years has it been since 2016? I'm losing track of time.
But 2015 is when his campaign started. Okay. So let's go 8 years.
Mm-hmm. So 8 years.
Yeah.
There's not, I think, a single person in America that has turned on the television in 8 years that does not have not just an opinion on Donald Trump, but a strong opinion on Donald Trump. And I would say that he's probably the only public figure ever, at least in America, in modern America, that has that strong of a reaction.
Yes. By the way, Dr. Ben says, didn't Bernie Sanders write about how he thought women fantasize about being groped? Yes, he did. Mm-hmm. He did. Mm-hmm. By the way, Alex's aunt lives across the street from Bernie Sanders in Vermont.
Don't dox my aunt.
I'm not doxing her. But yeah, no. So everyone has a strong opinion, like or hate him. So actually, I feel like I don't have a strong opinion.
About him? Well, okay, but here's the thing. It's not that you don't have a strong
like
opinion.
Him, but I don't have a strong opinion.
You do. Because here's the thing.
I didn't buy NFTs.
There's a difference between, I think, in this situation, your overarching opinion, and because you have very strong opinions. I would actually argue that you have stronger opinions, but it's because you see things so incremental. Like there's so much of interaction with this topic on a day-to-day basis. There's, stuff that you see in front of the cameras. There's stuff you see behind the cameras.
I'm friends with campaign people.
Right. So you're getting a view, I think, and introduced to this person in a way that most people are not, and in a frequency that people aren't. Even as he dominates the news cycle, it's just different. So I think that whereas you're a little bit more nuanced and a little bit probably more jaded on politics overall, when it comes to him, whereas most people would probably just be like, love him or hate him. This is my opinion. Like, in a few sentences, people can usually break down their opinion on him, I would say.
Yeah.
But I think that
they can't.
You have strong
they can say love or
on-
hate, but most of the time they have no idea why.
And
Especially the hates, they have no idea why.
Right. And so I think for you, it's more of a, I really love this, or I really didn't love this. And so I wouldn't say that there's the lack of passion behind the opinion. I think it's just that it's a little bit more incremental than a lot of the broader spectrum.
Yeah. Okay. What now?
What do you mean? What now?
Well, I have a broader. So again,
let me ask you a legal question.
Okay.
How does statute of limitations work, and how does this not?
Sex crimes typically are not affected by statutes of limitations.
Okay.
Same with like murder. Mm-hmm. So there's stuff there like your capital crimes like that, and they are not affected by. And then long-term damage, and she's claimed, I believe, defamation as well, and a few other things. Mm-hmm. So
which he was convicted of defamation. I think it was ruled that he has to pay $5 million.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
But what was there to defame?
Also, what damage did he cause? In fact, I would argue that no one knew who E. Jean Carroll was before Donald Trump, or a majority of people did not know, and she's cashed in more. Mm-hmm. In fact, so one of the things in a defamation case is that you have to prove damage. You have to prove actual damage. You have to prove, number one, that what's being said is false. Number two, that the person isn't of note, because if you are a famous person, you put yourself out publicly, you have the right to be criticized. And then you have to show that there's damage. So I don't believe that the prosecution in this case, or at least the plaintiff in this case here, it would be the plaintiff, with E. Jean Carroll, has the ability to prove that at all. Number one, she's famous. Mm-hmm. Number two, can she prove that what's been said is false? No. And number three, can she prove actual damage? Now, if Donald Trump criticizes you, let's be real here. You're making money. If Donald Trump says positive things about you, you make money. If he says negative things about you, you make money. Mm-hmm. She is more famous now, and I guarantee she has sold more books, and her income has increased since Donald Trump has even mentioned her name, if he has. Yeah. So proving damage there and proving that there's a problem, I don't think that they can do that. So I'm not sure. Again, this is a jury. Again, if you remember the four-person of the jury in Georgia, mm-hmm. you remember her, and then how nutty she was. Well, she went on a media tour, which I've never seen from a four-person of a jury. And she came out and was nutty. This was a young girl who was just very excited to talk to Donald Trump. She thought she got to read him his Miranda warnings, I believe. I mean, or not his Miranda warnings, sorry, swear him in.
Yeah.
And she was excited to swear him in. This is somebody who had no knowledge of the legal system, was excited to have 15 minutes of fame, and then went on every major media show to discuss this. And she's crazy. Like she looks like a crazy cat lady. And she put herself in the limelight for that. So again, you have juries like that of crazy leftists who are just ready to throw the book at Donald Trump for anything. Mm-hmm. I bet it was unanimous. And there's no way on God's green earth that E. Jean Carroll could prove defamation against Donald Trump. There just isn't. The elements aren't there. She has probably sold more books than ever in her life since accusing Donald Trump of nonsense. She has used it to enrich herself instead of showing damage. And so I don't see any instance in which she would have had damages from defamation, or a defamation case could be proved. Defamation is one of the hardest things to prove in American courts. Well, should be one of the hardest things to prove in courts. One of the few people who proved a defamation case and won, and at least settled in one instance, was Nick Sandmann, who is a kid. Of course, you remember the kid from Covington Catholic, who there was a 40-second clip of him being screamed in the face of by some Native American lunatic at the Lincoln Memorial. And immediately every media organization called this kid a racist who said awful things with no evidence, with zero evidence. Then the rest of the video came out and it was like, uh-oh.
But it's because there's tangible evidence in that situation.
He's not a famous person. Let's go through this. He's not a famous person.
So you can't talk. So what that means is you cannot talk about somebody in that manner, right? So what? Explain the difference between when you're a public figure.
When you're a public figure. I'm a public figure. You're a public figure. Actually, we're open to criticism because we have placed ourselves in the public eye.
Right.
We are open
by
to
our
criticism.
own choice.
Yes. Nick Sandmann did not do so.
Right.
The claim against him was provably false.
Right.
Like, I mean, incredibly provably false. He was not a racist by any means. That the video was blown out of context on purpose and used by every major media company to then intentionally cause damage to this kid, which includes harassment and getting him kicked out of potential future schools. They were intentionally attempting to harm this kid. Now, internal communications would have also probably proven that on Slack channels and whatnot. So it kind of came out with this Dominion stuff.
I was going to say, this is kind of a good segue.
Yeah. So you have all the elements there. You have actual provable damage and a malicious intent on him. You have a false claim, and he's not famous. So there's all of your elements right there. I don't believe that E. Jean Carroll has a single one of those elements.
Public figure.
Yeah.
Put herself out there.
And can you prove that it's false? If Trump said anything? No.
So what happened? Because we've gone over how biased the jury is.
Yeah.
And that's an aspect. It's probably the most prominent aspect. But is there any bit of the fault on, I don't know who Trump's legal team was for this. But again, as we're going through all of the facts, this is so hard to prove.
Yes.
There is no piece of evidence. I want to know what the defense was on Trump's side. How are you not able to show to a jury?
I don't think it matters.
I don't think
it matters. I don't think it matters. I think that's the problem here. I think you start with a biased jury and a biased judge and a biased court system in New York City. And so it doesn't matter. They could have accused him of anything and they would have convicted him of anything or fined him of anything. That's the problem. That's what you try to in our legal system that's supposed to be fair and balanced and just. You're supposed to have a jury of your peers who aren't biased against you. That did not happen here. And so they knew that. That's why that court case could have been brought anywhere in America, by the way, because it's federal. So like you could just pick. It doesn't matter in this instance. They could have moved it anywhere. Yeah. Trump wasn't going to win, and Trump will. Any case brought against Trump in New York or DC or Chicago or San Francisco or Seattle or Portland, you can name the cities. He will not win because the jury is so damaged and so biased against him. There's no chance that he will win. So they can bring any. It doesn't even have to be a credible charge. And that's what's happening here. This isn't even two-tier justice system. This is a complete malpractice and misuse of the justice system.
Yes.
And shame on everyone here is dirty, right? So obviously the attorneys and this person making E. Jean Carroll making this ridiculous claim, but then all of the jury members who are just eager to punish Donald Trump because they don't like him. This is a totally corrupt system.
Well, and it reminds me of when the charges were originally brought forward, I think a month ago now. the general consensus that I saw from the left, and I forget who it was, but there was a very prominent media personality that I remember seeing tweet and say, Trump, if he's innocent, will have the chance to prove his innocence.
Nancy Pelosi.
If
Yeah.
Trump is innocent, he'll have a chance to prove it. That's not how our justice system works.
Yeah.
It is innocent until proven guilty, not guilty until proven innocent.
Well,
And
but
so,
under Democrat rule, that's where this is going, and that's where we are.
and that's dangerous. And I think that's something that, Trump, again, like I've seen this meme way too many times, but it's the meme of Trump, and it's the quote of, they're coming after you, but I'm just in their way. And I think, even though I'm sick of the meme, the the sentiment is very applicable in this situation, because if they can do this to the most powerful man in the world, and I would still say that he is. He's not in the White House right now.
He's not currently the most powerful person in the
Okay.
world. Whoever behind Joe Biden.
Yes. Okay. I will concede on that point. But one of the most powerful, prominent people in the world, if they can do that to him,
They can do it to anybody.
It's the same thing as kicking him off of social media.
Yes.
They are going big because then they're proving that they can go small.
Yeah. Yep. They start there and then they go down the line.
Mm-hmm.
So it won't stop there. And that's why they've hired 87,000 IRS agents as well. Make sure you do your taxes, Alex Spencer.
Don't matter.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so that is topic one. There's no liberal city in America where Trump can get a fair trial. Period. There's just not. So let's go with the second story of the day, shall we? Do you have the video? Should I pull up the video?
You pull up the video?
I have to find it.
All right, I'll talk. So the other story is, obviously, probably everybody's seen, Tucker Carlson made a big announcement on Twitter today. In his second video since being ousted by Fox, we still don't really know if he is still on contract with them or whatnot.
I don't believe he is anymore.
I wouldn't be surprised if he does, and this just doesn't impede on his non-compete because it's not another media company.
Reports are saying that he has turned down the money that they owed him.
Oh.
And I can tell you now, you notice where he's filming. This is the interesting part, and this is where we're going to go out on the limb here. I believe as part of a severance agreement. I don't know that he was fired from Fox yet. I think Megyn Kelly was saying that he wasn't.
Right.
She's very excited to get on this train, by the way. She has been. She's whatever project he's working on.
Super
She wants
excited.
in on.
Yeah.
And she's been up his butt.
Unjustly arrested for robbery that is not strictly speaking a lie.
I believe his set. Now they built him a set in his home for the Tucker Carlson Today podcast.
Right.
If I don't mention the fact that the same
He
man
filmed the
has been
last
arrested
time
for
on
the
his cell phone.
same
It looked like from
crime
there.
6
Now he's got a pro
before.
camera. He's got one of
Am I
these
really
babies
informing
here.
you? No, I'm not.
In
I'm
another
misleading
part of
you.
his house.
Mhm.
And that's what the news media
Because I
argued.
guarantee that
Every
part of his
story that
settlement
matters,
agreement
every day
was
of the week,
you
every
can't
week of the year.
use our
What's it
set.
like to work
Or
in a
sorry,
system like
he
that?
you can have our set as
After
part of the
more than
settlement.
30 years in the middle
If he
of it,
leaves, he
we can
can't
tell
use the
you
set, and they
stories.
have to probably come
The
and
best you
get
can
it.
hope for in
And the
news
pieces and the
business
cameras
is
and whatnot.
the freedom to
To
tell
which
the
I'm sure he
fullest
said,
truth
"Come
that
get
you
them."
can. But there are always
So,
limits. And you know that if you
That's
bump
where we
up
are with
against
that.
those limits
I
often
believe
enough,
Tucker
you
Carlson
will be
has
fired
now
for it.
officially
It's not a guess,
violated
it's
whatever
guaranteed.
Agreed.
and
Every
yes,
person who works in
and
English
turned down the
language
money.
media
Good for him.
understands
Megyn
that.
Kelly, when she left
The rule
NBC,
of
when they
what you
canned her show,
can't
they gave her
say
$69 million.
defines everything. It's
I would
fun,
have never worked
really.
again.
And
By
it's
the way,
utterly
I would have just
shocking.
gone and bought like a small
You
island.
can't
Well,
have
here's the
a
thing,
free
though.
society if people aren't allowed to say what they think is true.
If
Speech
you're
is
looking
the
at, say you
fundamental
don't want
prerequisite
to
for
hang up the
democracy.
hat
That's
and
why it's
buy an
enshrined
island.
in the first of our
If you're
constitutional
thinking
rights.
like you still want to
Amazingly, as of tonight, there aren't
progress
any
your
platforms
career
left that allow
and build
free
something,
speech. The last
it's like
big
what
one remaining in the world,
value
the
can you
only
even
one,
put on
is
being
Twitter,
benched
where
for
we are now.
multiple
Twitter has
years?
long served as the
It does.
place where
It
our
costs you
national
money when you do that.
conversation
Yeah.
incubates
So
and
it's not like
develops.
he's just saying
Twitter is not a partisan
no to the
zone.
money. I'm
Everybody's
sure that
allowed
what
here,
he's looking
and we
at
think
is,
that's a good thing. And yet, for
will
the
I
most
be
part,
more
the news that you
financially
see analyzed on
successful
Twitter comes
if I
from
don't take
media
the money
organizations
up
that are
front, but I'm
themselves
not
thinly
benched? Because
disguised
even if he doesn't
propaganda
make the same
outlets.
amount of money
You
over the
see it on
next few
cable
years,
news, you talk
the-
about it on Twitter.
the chances of
The
him
result may
having
feel
this
like it,
momentum at
but
any other
actually,
point
gatekeepers
is
are still
slim
in
to
charge.
none.
We
So
think
not
that's a
only are you
bad
looking
system.
at the money over
We
those
know
3
exactly
years,
how
but
it
you're looking
works,
at
and we're sick of it.
where do I come
Starting
out?
soon, we'll be
Where do I
bringing
come
a
out
new
at the
version
end
the
of
show
those
we've been
3
doing
years?
for the
What
last
does
6.5
then the
years
next
to
3 years
Twitter.
look like? What is the
We bring some
next
other things
6?
too, which
What is
we'll
the
tell you
next
about.
10? What is the
But
next
for now, we're
20?
just
And so
grateful
I
to be
think
here.
probably not 20 in this
Free
case, but
speech is the main right
He's
that
going to
you
make,
have.
he will make more
Without it,
money
you
this
have
year
no
than he
other.
would have with Fox. So here's what's going to
Yeah.
happen. He says he's bringing his website to, or his website,
do you want
his
to
show
play that
to
with
Twitter.
sound, or are we
No.
done? Okay.
No.
We just kind of let that roll.
Yeah, you gave it enough sound. He's going to bring his show to Twitter.
Mhm.
Twitter has subscriptions, right?
Mhm.
I don't know what they are because I don't have them yet, even though I have almost 900,000 followers. If you can pay $5 a month, and I'm sure he's getting a deal on that, and he gets 1 million subscribers, in 3 or 4 months, he's making what he would make in a year at Fox.
Well, and I'm sure as well part of this agreement, because he could honestly launch his own subscription service and take 100% minus the fees that the processors take out. He could have more of a revenue from monetization or for subscription based services on his own platform, so they have to be offering him something up front as well.
Yeah. No, they say that. Apparently, I read that Elon didn't. There is no deal with Elon, that he's just doing it on his own. But I don't believe that for a second. I'm sure there was a phone call. I'm sure there was a fast phone call. Now, another company for PR claimed that they were going to give him $100 million for 5 years, I believe it was. And that was a stunt.
So remember when they did that? So that was my first thought when I saw that. And I'm like, is this the new trend now of like
Fake
people
offers.
just throwing
We
fake
should have offered
offers?
Tucker
Like,
Carlson $100 million for 2 years.
our podcast would be so successful.
Yeah.
We're willing to bring him to Tim Runs His Mouth, the podcast, for
such a BS.
75 million.
But this person got booked on stuff for saying that.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
Dude,
that's the shtick.
think about how we started off this podcast, talking about how some days there's so much and some days there's nothing. And
Yeah.
so if you just throw shit at the wall, it's gonna stick sometimes. If you just do PR stunts all the time, you're gonna get some media legitimacy out of it.
If you go to city council meetings and scream like a monkey constantly, you will eventually get noticed by something. One of them will come through. If you keep saying the same rhyme over and over and over again, one of them will catch. And then maybe a network will put a crappy setup and immediately regret hiring you. That's what could happen.
If you're so fortunate.
Wait till you see the latest clip that got shifted around. I will tell you now.
5 people sent it to me.
Did you not want to show me earlier because you knew that
I thought you showed it to me.
I did not. Today?
Really?
The one today?
Didn't someone
with the
send
banana?
it in a group with us?
With the banana?
Mm-hmm. Got at least, I think, between 3 to 5 people sent it to me.
This is, I will tell you right now, that network has got to be ashamed of themselves. And they've got to be, I don't know what kind of deal they have, but there are things. Remember, our friend said, if you get invited, you should go on. No. No way. No way.
Well, you're not invited. So.
Yeah, it's fine. And that's for a reason.
That's probably the smartest decision that's being made over there.
That is, probably the best decision that could be made. But no, so I mean, Tucker Carlson is going to end up okay. And I think this is really fun. It's fun to see him become, I think Twitter, I did the Thanos meme of Twitter adding an extra Infinity Stone. It was Thanos adding an Infinity Stone to his gauntlet. I think that is what Elon is doing here. He's going to be I think the media outlet to be a part of.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and you'd be a fool not to be over here. I know lefties are leaving, right? And like PBS and was it the Canadian Broadcast Company left because they're saying, oh, state run, blah, blah, blah. And NPR is left. What a mistake. Because what's going to happen here is Tucker's going to come in. He's going to make $1 gazillion here. And he's going to set a new standard for citizen journalism because that's what he is now. I mean, he's a commentator, but it's citizen journalism. And good for him. I'm glad that he's going to make the money. I mean, I think it's a very smart. Tucker's a very smart guy. That is one thing. No one ever denied. No one calls him dumb. Lots of people call lots of people dumb. The left calls lots of people on our side dumb, and a lot of it is justified. Tucker is not dumb. He's a very, very smart guy. Knows exactly what he's going to do. Knows exactly what the next moves are. I'm sure he's got it all planned out. The people around him are very smart. And I mean, look at who like he surrounded himself with on his show. Aside from like some people that we don't like, You have like a Glenn Greenwald, you have Matt Taibbi or whatever his name is. You've got Julie Kelly was regularly on there. These are good, like technically citizen journalists. They used to, again, Julie Kelly's part of American Greatness where I am. But you have people who are doing journalism and saying things that he was giving a platform to that no one else would dare book them. And now he's going to have it all in one place. And I think that's Twitter is going to become, and not Twitter itself, but it is a public forum.
Yeah.
Instead of a very strict publication. And I predict that Twitter, where people said Twitter was going to fail under Elon, I think it's going to be probably the most successful social media platform, at least for a time. They're going to start turning a profit soon between the blue checks and the evening everyone out. It's very it's logical when you think about all the moves that have been made, and now that he's attracted the top cable news host currently or ever actually by ratings.
Yeah.
Twitter's going to be the place to be. Unfortunately, my Twitter's screwed.
Well, and I think that what Elon Musk is doing that's really smart in this situation, that I think that a lot of conservatives, especially in the entrepreneur space and in the creator space, should take note of, is Elon Musk. He came in with a vision, and it was it should be something that it has a wide range of approval. But today's world is so crazy that focusing on issues like providing free speech in an open forum and exposing people to different beliefs, that's controversial now, unfortunately. But what Elon Musk did is he didn't go trying to chase the people that were going to hate him no matter what he did. There were a lot of people, a lot of politicos, a lot of journalists that were getting their blue check stripped away, that they were like, you're going to fail, you're going to fail, you're going to fail.
Yeah.
Elon Musk did not cave to those people. He did not continue building his vision for those people. He continued building his vision for the people who are on the same page as him. About this is what's needed in this space. The people who are going to invest in growing it as a project together. And then when you provide that value, when you provide something that nobody else is doing, when you provide the access to more opinions and information, you make it so powerful that if you're a serious person, even if you love to hate it, you can't stay away. And so those haters, they'll follow. Never cave towards the haters. Always build with the people that are supporting you. And the haters will see you succeeding and they won't be able to look away. And I think that's what a lot of people in the conservative space don't look at, because they're so worried about, how do I get people to just agree with me before I then go and do anything significant or influential. And it's like, no. Understand where you're coming from, understand what you want to build, see a need, and go and do it. If you put out the value, the people follow.
I want to make comments about places you used to work for, but I'm not going to. They didn't do that.
I will say that I'm speaking about a lot of, and again, this is on a much more micro scale than talking about like Elon Musk and Twitter, but it's the same kind of trend that I see myself talking about over and over again. In my day-to-day job, I work with influencers, I work with content creators, I advise people on content. I tell people that their content's going great, or I tell them that here's what needs to change. And that's something like the creator space. I was just having this conversation today with a colleague that you have to be so hungry to connect with an audience. And I think that to be able to provide successful, influential content, it can't just be about, hey, what do I look like on camera? Do I sound smart enough? Am I like getting the views or anything? You have to understand audience attention, what an audience is hungry for, what's going to provide your viewer with value. And I think that is the type of platform that Twitter is becoming. It's much more open forum, which when we talk about how to interact with Gen Z, that's very much the way that that content is going. It's much more like a Twitch, like Reddit. It's a lot more conversational based. It's a lot more community building in order to have those deeper connections between creator and.
Speaking of, have you read any of the comments tonight?
I did. I've read a few.
That's your job. That's your job.
People are being they're just talking about, they're just having one-off things about what we're saying.
Oh, okay. Nothing.
Yeah,
So,
I have been
so you're
looking
saying
at
that the commenters are
Sorry.
insignificant.
I love you guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Um,
All right, let's talk about what we're drinking again. All right,
also,
so
if you guys are here, make sure if you're on.
you like, share, and subscribe. I mean, that's the big deal. Is like we want to grow this so that we can do some cool stuff. And so I'm going to talk
join
again.
the chat on Rumble or YouTube.
So this is again great. 100.6 proof, by the way. It's 50% alcohol. I realized that most of the bottles of booze that I have in my collection are about 120 proof, and so I did not want to fall
It's very hard to
asleep
find something
tonight. Dexter, again, this stuff is out of Ohio. It's fantastic. And it's aged. It's a bourbon that is aged in a 200-year-old oak. It's finished in 200-year-old oak. So they're repurposing this old oak tree. That's amazing. The flavor of this is just one of my favorites. And I forgot that I had this, and I was so excited that I found it in a box downstairs. So that's the thing. What are you drinking, Al? Tell everybody what you're drinking, Al. Pull up your bottle.
I am drinking.
That's about $40 a bottle, by the way, that Dexter.
Cabernet Sauvignon. What is it?
Sauvignon.
Sauvignon. I did pronounce it correctly.
Yeah.
It's a California 2019 bourbon barrel aged for 4 years.
Months. It says months.
I'm used to whiskey. It says months.
Yeah.
It's very lovely. It has it actually does. I feel like a lot of barrel aged wines, it's kind of like whatever. This is actually has a strange little smoky taste to it. It's very lovely.
That may or may not be good. I'm not sure why, but it's from Sam's Club for $10. It was like $9.80 or something. $9.88. It was like a Walmart price. $9.88. I think is what it was. So I bought you 3 bottles of it because I figured I rolled the dice because we get bourbon barrel aged stuff and things. Oh, so Jam and Mommy says she's got better things to do. Good for you. I bet you do.
Is that the same person as yesterday?
Probably.
No.
I don't care. I like it when people are so not bothered that they are bothered.
They hate
to
it
comment.
so much. Well, and that's exactly what I was saying about the value in people being so fixated on things that they hate.
I hate you so much that I'm here to tell you that I'm leaving.
It's like I hate you, but I still need you to validate my existence by acknowledging my hatred.
Please acknowledge that I'm leaving now.
Well, that's what happened with Twitter. Is all these people who are like, I'm not. It's the same thing that happened with the election. It's like people are like, I'm going to move to Canada. All right, did you? No.
Did they leave? Did they leave Twitter? Like only like
I'm going to leave Twitter. Did you?
Who left Twitter? By the way, were a few. No, a few people did.
Oh, what's her name that
Sarah
I like?
Bareilles left.
Who could forget? Joni Mitchell.
Did she leave? She was on there. Joni Mitchell knew what Twitter was.
And here's the thing.
Did Joni Mitchell know what Twitter was?
Apparently.
How old is Joni Mitchell?
Like 76.
1,000. She doesn't know what Twitter is.
I love Joni Mitchell's music.
Yeah.
But I don't love Joni Mitchell's Twitter. I love Joni Mitchell's music. 79.
What did Joni Mitchell tweet about? She doesn't know that Twitter exists.
I don't know a single person.
What were they tweeting on her behalf of?
Again.
Did she endorse Democrats?
I don't know. Again, I didn't see it.
What's a Joni Mitchell song, by the way? I'm not a cultured person.
What's it called? The
Nope.
Hey Paradise.
Oh, that's a Joni Mitchell song?
I think so.
Big Yellow Taxi?
Yeah.
Nobody knows the name of that song. Is Big Yellow Taxi.
It's by Joni Mitchell.
That was her song. Good for her. Big hit. Do we have that on record in the collection?
My favorite song by her is A Case of You.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So she's 79. She had no idea. She had no idea what Twitter was. Probably somebody like she's like a snooze fest like Biden, and somebody tweeted that they were leaving on her behalf. Right. So it's a thing. There you go. So, yeah. It's amazing to me. Anyway. So yeah. So there's something.
Apparently, they said that we're rambling on, and they came here for the discussion on the topics. Here's the thing about our stream that I'll say.
How about you zoom back and see when we discussed the topics for the last hour?
Yeah, you can go back.
You can go back and take a look at we're 49 minutes
YouTube,
in,
so you can.
Yeah.
But also, here's the thing about our stream. We're not sitting in front of a teleprompter.
We're having a conversation.
We're having a conversation about something because we're real people.
Yeah.
I don't there's so many news programs out there that like
you want to be bored to death. or if you want to go watch doom and gloom, which there's tons of out there. Again, like we'll talk about the topics and we'll cover them and we'll have a good time talking them. But if you want to go watch doom and gloom, there's plenty of options to go watch doom and gloom. And then that doom and gloom, I always like the doom and gloom channels talk about how the end times are coming, and then they sell you gold or something stupid, right? Like, or the turmeric and fish oil. My favorite is the turmeric and fish oil. I'm never going to sell what's this stuff called?
Relief factor.
Relief factor.
Um
Which listen, that's like,
what do you have against relief?
thank you, Jeremy.
What do you have against relief?
And thanks. And please tell people if you like this, please share with people. This is going to grow, and it's grown actually pretty well for one live podcast. And thank you for being here, guys. And we really do appreciate you. The non-haters, the haters too.
She said she's not a hater.
Okay, but
or he. I don't know what
listen,
Jam and Mammy is.
Anyway, so I'm never going to promote Relief Factor, but there's so many. I understand trying to make money, right?
But the
trying to
gold
make a
one
buck.
is the worst.
No, reverse mortgages is even worse.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh man. I just look. That's the whole thing about being conservative. Like, there are companies who are willing to support conservative. You sell My Pillow all day long. That's a legitimate product. I'm not selling
have My Pillows.
Yeah, we do. No, we don't anymore. Do we? Do we still have them?
We may have gone.
I've had them for years. They started to get skanky. They were little. My parents bought them from QVC when he was on QVC years ago.
Yeah.
But no. Again, My Pillow is a legitimate company, right? With legitimate stuff. Don't sell pain pills. Don't sell.
But here's the thing.
Vitamin products. I just can't. So no. Here's the thing. I'm cutting you off. I came up in digital marketing, and I watched so many scammy products come through, and it's just so like my favorite was like for like $40, we'll tell you the spice that'll help you lose weight, and it was cinnamon, right? It's cinnamon. Okay. But like, it was like this big like product, like there's a magical spice that helps you lose weight. It's cinnamon. So again, I watched so many scammy products come through that like it discredits conservatives to me when I see them sell things like gold, or one guy pushes his own real estate company, his real estate investing company over and over again. A big guy owns these companies. Really, like, again, Relief Factor's turmeric and fish oil, I believe, are two of the things in it. Like, it just, guys, I'm not a big pharma guy either, but like, come on.
Well, and I think that when you talk about the advertisements happening on news channels, it's not just about the scamminess of the product, but it's also about the implications that advertisers have on the content. So if you're talking and you're trying to convince somebody to buy gold, and your ad read is about how you're going to lose all your money unless you invest in gold, and here's the solution, that not only is an ad read, but it's then going to shape all of the content that you are given up until that point. And that's very dangerous, because what you have is you have the news that you trust. And I know we all like to talk about how we reject the fake news and we want to go to these smaller outlets and support, more of these startup news publications and outlets. But when you are so tied into what your advertiser needs communicated, and it is all based off of end of the world language and terminology, understand that that is then affecting the news you are getting, and then in turn it is affecting your worldview. Not because necessarily any of that stuff is true, or even if there's an aspect of truth that's not maybe to that level that they're communicating, because the news you're getting is based off of money. It's based off of keeping the lights on. Even the people who say, we're giving you truth that the mainstream media won't give you, those people, maybe even more so than the mainstream media that has access to a ton of different advertisers, those smaller podcasters, those smaller media outlets, they are trying to make it happen. They're trying to pay their entry-level employees. They're trying to keep the lights on.
Trying to pay my entry-level employee.
And that in turn is shaping the way that you are presented the news.
Yes. I just want to advertise for booze all the time and not Bud Light. I would take Bud Light money at this point. If they're trying to revamp their image.
Well, and I think
what better than like, hey, listen, I'm not quite trans, right? I'm like in the middle. I'm conservative, not the most masculine
You're
conservative. It's kind of like, right, Bud Light, meet you in the middle. Then give me $3 million for that. I'll do that. I like America, but I'm not lifting weights. Bud Light, meet you in the middle.
Well, and
American flag.
It's the same kind of topic going back to with the Bud Light issue, going back to what we said about the creator space. The issue with Bud Light transcended just them, giving money or sending free cans or whatever the agreement was to Dylan Mulvaney. The issue is that's a company that said, hey, we care more about people who are not loyal customers more than we care about our customer base.
Yes.
That's the bigger issue as a company that Bud Light is facing right now.
We haven't reacted to any clips today. Should we react to a clip? I've got a lot. We're supposed to react to funny clips.
Let's save it till tomorrow. Why? Because we're a podcast.
Yeah, hold on. I know how to fix this. I'll do Brett Cooper colors, and then we can do.
We gotta.
Now I'm Brett Cooper. Hold on.
Stop. We call it generic purple podcast girlies.
Can you use it?
What are you doing?
This is Brett Cooper. She always has a leg up too.
I like to put my leg up.
It's purple, and there's always a leg up on the. There's always a leg up on the table. That's the direction that they give her over at
react. Don't even.
Oh, hold on. I have to pull up.
I'll
pull up. Hold on. No, I'll pull up. Hold on. I got videos.
Want my light. We got 2 lights. Where's my light?
Your light can be put up
by me.
By you.
Well, thanks a lot. Thanks for nothing.
Here, I got a present for you. It's your light.
Move it.
You can go plug it in.
You're gonna tip over the wine, and then you're gonna. Me.
You can plug my light's in. But hold on, I have Brett Cooper colors, and I want to just. Let's watch a. Here you go. Here we go. Ready? You ready for this one? This is Biden reacting to it's on Asian Awareness Day or Asian Day of Visibility at the White House. Ready?
Honored a trailblazing artist with national medals of arts and humanities. The group included groundbreaking Asian Americans like Vera Wang and Joan Shingang. I'm going to pronounce right. Shanga.
Just quit, Joe.
I'm doing another influencer's facial expressions.
Hold on. You want to get it here? Let's get it. Hold on.
Let's do our
facial expressions for influencers.
Because I don't know. I don't think Brett does the.
Do your facial expression. Shut up and do your facial expression. We're so shocked. All right. You've actually never seen this video before.
Kawawa.
I know. I can actually do that.
Pronounce right. Shanga. Kawawa.
Oh.
I think I pronounced it correctly.
Yep.
She can call me Joe Biden. I honored a group of
again.
Actually, that was really good. That was a good save. I will say that's actually probably the most
lucid he's been in a while.
Yes. That was actually smart. I think that's the first time I've ever seen a cognitive thought process going on in that area.
All right, we're gonna do another one. We're gonna do another one, and I'm gonna pull up a fact for you.
Wow.
Do you know what the 14th Amendment is?
The what? I was trying to keep up with
the 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution. Are you familiar with it at all?
I know it's not the 19th Amendment because I hear people complain about that all the time. I know what that one is.
It is, and I'll just read section 1. All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and the state wherein they reside.
Great.
No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of the citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property. Life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of laws. So today, Joe Biden was asked how he will continue to send money to Ukraine without congressional approval. All right? And here's his response. Here's the question and the response.
If you do, you said you're certain there won't be a default. Are you willing to take unilateral action, like invoking the 14th Amendment, to make sure that doesn't happen?
Well, the question, I have been considering the 14th Amendment. And a man I have enormous respect for, Larry Tribe, who advised me for a long time, thinks that it would be legitimate. But the problem is it would have to be litigated. And in the meantime, without an extension, it would still end up in the same place. I'll be very blunt with you. When we get by this, I'm thinking about taking a look at months down the road as to see what the court would say about whether or not it does work.
That has nothing to do with the 14th Amendment.
Is he, the way he spoke about it sounded like he was talking about passing the amendment itself. Is he like transported back?
He has no idea. He has no idea where he is. I mean, that's just, yeah. Yep.
That
good?
sounds like what he's saying is, should we pass the 14th Amendment?
No. He wanted to use it.
Yeah,
use
but the
it.
way that he spoke about it
No.
was not in the right.
I'm going to say, I have another video
context at
here. Let
all.
me see if I this is a good one. Aha, I like this video a lot. All right, so let's set this one up.
Oh, who posted that, Timothy?
I like this video a lot. So this is what is believed to be the negotiation between Tucker Carlson and Elon Musk to get Tucker Carlson over to Twitter. Ready?
Yeah.
That's them
I don't-
taking over the media.
I didn't like the sensory overload that
Why?
was in my ears.
That was them
I don't know why.
negotiating.
It's just like it's such a strong.
That was them negotiating their Tucker Carlson coming over to Twitter.
I don't know.
Leaked video of them.
That gave me social anxiety. I don't know why.
Really?
It just yeah.
I don't think so. I don't
Well,
think
you're
so.
not me, and I'm speaking from personal experience.
So yeah, that was leaked video of Tucker Carlson and Elon Musk.
Carlson.
I can't say it. Look, we've been going for an hour, so no, I'm coughing.
Wow.
Do you want to advertise for Super Beats before we leave?
Hey, if you've got a tickle in your throat and you can't stop coughing while you're doing a live stream, take Relief Factor.
No, I like.
That's
No, my favorite.
CMOS.
This is actually my favorite. Anytime I see the Super Beats thing, this is my, and that's another one that's a big one that's advertised by
Super Beats.
Republicans. Hold
Super
on.
Beats. It's Super Beaty.
No, this is what every time I see it, I always think of this. It's a sketch from Portlandia. Ready?
911, where's your emergency?
There's blood everywhere.
That sounds very grisly. Sir, I'm just going to ask you a couple questions. Have you had any trouble urinating?
No,
Do you have any new sexual partners?
no.
I need to know what you had for dinner this evening.
A salad.
Could there have been beets in the salad, sir?
There's spinach.
Was there goat cheese?
Oh, yeah, actually, there were beets in there.
Yes. Beets often change the consistency and the color of your stool.
Really?
You're going to be fine. I promise it's not blood, it's beets.
That's every time I see a Super Beats commercial. that's what I think. It's Beats.
It's Beats.
It's Beats.
It's Beats.
Do you see blood anywhere? No, it's not.
It's not.
Have you eaten Beats? It's Beats. Why?
But true. Where's the lie?
It's Beats.
It's Beats.
All right, here's the deal.
All right. Lay it down.
We've been going for an hour. This is going to be a good wrap to our podcast. It's Beats.
It's Beats. We got to put that in the soundboard. It's Beats.
It's
like
Beats.
Blackpink.
Mm.
Blackpink.
I should do that. Do we have the we have that? It's my pink button.
That's very loud.
I turned down your headphones.
Well, not enough. Jesus, you did not.
I'm turning them down now. Let me know
Well,
if
thank
it's
you.
like
That's well, now I can't hear myself at all, but
wow. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that we have good on the soundboard right now to like go. We don't. We have the Addams Family theme.
I'm scared for anything to come through my headphones.
Really?
Really? That's still
It's
pretty.
fine.
That's pretty loud. It wasn't. It was not jarring.
I turned down your headphones.
I know I can't hear myself at all, but that was actually still like normal.
You're just scared of. You're scared
No.
of 4 powerful, independent Asian women known as Blackpink. Get
I
us
just don't
Kara
like the colors
McKinney.
black or
Get us
pink.
Kara McKinney. That is your job. I want Kara McKinney on the show
You're
next
the
week.
one that was booking that
Oh.
one. I don't have her contact. I'm not cool enough.
Where did I put?
I know you called me a public figure, but I'm not.
We're gonna do it right now on the podcast. When's a good time next week? I'm gonna get her right now.
We're doing basically, for those of you here, we're going to be doing an anime special. We're going to be talking about, not anime. We're going to talk about anime, but we are doing a K-pop. We're going to get inside the mind of a K-pop fan. You know her as an OANN host. Is it 2 N's now or 1 N? I thought it was 2 N's, but I think it's 1 N now.
I don't know. I have some news. So I have two pieces of news. Number one.
Oh my God.
I'm filling in for Stacey on the Right tomorrow night.
Fun.
Which means you're also filling in for Stacey on the Right tomorrow night. I'm very excited to have you fill in.
Wow. Tune in, baby.
Secondly, I can't find Karen McKay.
Dude, did you not save her number? Have some respect.
She's in here somewhere. We're gonna do this before we get. This is how we.
All right, I'm gonna explain. You find her contact.
Yeah, you got it.
Didn't save. Okay, dude, you cannot do that again.
Okay.
You cannot. It's way too loud.
Okay.
So we are going to get inside the mind.
Oh, I do have it on my phone.
Let me promo.
Okay.
Gonna get inside the mind of a K-pop fan. The good, the bad, the ugly, the mystery. K-pop.
And it's gonna be really fun.
Maybe. Or maybe you'll all cry because there might actually be some dark stuff happening over there. I know that South Korea is the good one, but the K-pop industry, it's whack, man. It's whack.
So here's the thing. Tomorrow night, I'm on live 9 to midnight Eastern, and we stream 9 to 10 Eastern.
So we're going to do early?
No.
Or not at all?
Why don't we do it at the same time?
Afternoon. Did they let you?
Who cares? It's like, who cares? Let's do a live stream.
That is a good point. That is a
You
good
want to do
point.
that?
Sure, why
I think we could do that.
Can you run the audio through both places?
Why not? Well, let's test it tomorrow.
Cool. I'm for it.
All right. So let's do that. Then I'm in for Stacey on the Right tomorrow, and we're also going to live stream here.
Here being Rumble
and YouTube.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Which is new. So if you're on Rumble, I know y'all hate YouTube. I get it. But look, you're supporting us and you like us, right? Maybe you don't, but I don't care. Still go and
you'll talk about 10
it.
pull clips, but you won't complain about us.
So look, we need your help. We need to spread out our distribution. So if you're on Rumble, go follow our YouTube. Just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. Please. You can turn that up now.
I'm doing that. This is the Tim Runs His Mouth podcast. And there's an audio version. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts.
Apple Podcasts now and Spotify.
We're on everything.
Wherever you get your podcasts.
There we go. What a very exciting time.
Very exciting.
Tomorrow night, Stacey on the Right, also here.
And Sirius XM Patriot Radio 125.
More people will watch here than listen tomorrow night.
You can call us.
You could call in. We could have oh man. There's so much.
It's gonna be fun, baby.
That's that.
That one was actually normal. The audio leveled out.
Well, there we go. That's it for tonight. We will see you guys soon. Tim Runs His Mouth.